Thanks, Anita. Have you ever made a turn, felt like the wheel was grabbing the pavement or pulling a little bit? Our auto man, Brian Bowerstock with West Escondido Auto, joins us this morning. He's going to tell us exactly what that means and just how expensive is that fix?
Well, it really depends. There's several components, obviously, that can fail in this system. The traction control system, we've talked about ABS on here before. Traction control system works along with ABS. It just does the opposite thing. ABS will release a wheel that's been locked up when you slam the brakes on. Traction control, actually, what it does is will pulse a brake to stop a wheel from spinning. So the systems work together to prevent you from losing control of your vehicle, basically.
Right. What's the worst case scenario?
Well, worst case could be if you had a control module that failed. They're quite expensive, or a control valve assembly. This actually here is a control valve assembly, and there's solenoids in it that pulse the fluid and stuff. It could be a repair. This repair can range from a speed sensor, a couple $100s to repair, up to a couple $1,000s if you have a major problem with the traction control system.
So first indicator that something's wrong with your traction control system, are you going to feel it first, or maybe is there going to be an indicator light?
There's an indicator light. Usually a traction control light will come on and stay on, or maybe flash at you at different times. It's important to get the system checked out because it can affect your driving. If you have a speed sensor that's going bad, they actually run off these reluctor wheels on the back of a brake rotor, can have a vehicle that it will apply the brakes when cornering and things like that. And obviously that's a funny feeling and not always a safe situation if it is a component that's failing. And
not something that you should probably rely on to check out yourself?
Very difficult to do. We at West Escondido and most shops have factory software scanners that we plug into the vehicle to actually diagnose this. It's quite a complex system, so there's a lot of tests to go through. If you just started replacing components yourself, it could get quite expensive to repair.
So leave it to the professionals for sure.
Absolutely. On something like this, very, very important because it does work with the brake fluid system also. It uses brake fluid to pulse the wheels and stop them from spinning, or to apply the brakes and things like that. And obviously brakes are very important, very big safety items, so it's important somebody qualified works on the system.
And is there a quick fix too? I mean, if you flush the system, does that help it at all?
Well, the only maintenance you can really do to keep the system in good working order is to keep the brake fluid system flushed on a regular basis. If it starts to get dark, acidic, it's a good thing to have the whole system flushed out and the brake fluid replaced, because that is the lifeline of this system, and the brakes and the ABS and the traction control. It all uses brake fluid.
Is this maybe a time of year when we're looking out for this type of problem more than others? Because it's raining, there's a lot of debris in the road, things get kicked up inside underneath the car?
Actually, that doesn't affect the system, so any time of the year this can pretty much become an issue. If you have a wheel sensor that fails, reluctor rings often crack and start to come off. The sensor doesn't pick up the speed signal correctly, and then you have a problem. So it's not a special kind of year thing any time of the year. It can happen any time.
And is this pretty minor to start out with, and then it gets gradually worse?
Usually not. When you get a failure in traction control, it's usually one component, one thing causing a problem. It doesn't cascade. It doesn't usually take other components out with it. But the big safety thing is obviously the drivability of the car if you are having a problem with the traction control.
Okay, so quick rundown for us, just 1, 2, 3. How do you know if this is a problem that you should be aware of?
Typically there'll be a drivability problem that'll come with it when turning, applying the brakes, things like that. And you should get an indicator light that says traction control system problem.
All right, all great things to watch out for. Appreciate you coming in this morning.
Glad to be here.
Brian Bowerstock, our auto man from West Escondido Automotive. Now, if you have a question for Brian, you can drop him an email. The link to his website is on ours. That's fox6.com, and then you just click right there on Hot Topics.